Are we on yet? Oh, thank you. I'm cheating a little bit because I have an important message for you all. As auction co-chair, I have a couple hats. Today, I'm speaking to you as one of the co-chairs of the auction, and we need your help. We really need your help. I'm serious about this. Thank you. We need your donations. We want this to be a very successful auction for a variety of reasons. It's an opportunity for us to come together as a community to have some fun, to eat some good food, and just kind of see all of the things that have been offered as events and services through the silent auction. And then in the live auction, just have a ball. This year we're going to have a contest. The theme is the Tree of Life. Let's see how creative you can be with how you interpret the Tree of Life. Through a hat, through a t-shirt, we don't care. Just as what does that phrase mean to you? And we will have an audience judging your successful interpretation of the Tree of Life during the intermission in the live auction. Now, again, as I said earlier, we have donation forms in the foyer. Please consider, if you haven't already, donating. And then, of course, coming to the auction on April 26th from 3 o'clock to 8. Be there or be square. All right, now, our friend Sam from the board has other announcements for you.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. Welcome, beautiful people, to this lovely church. My name is Sam, and you don't have to pronounce the last name because it is far too complicated. Okay, I'm going to highlight some of the announcements. We are still looking for a director or musical accompanist for our choir. So if you happen to know somebody, or if you are somebody who can take on one of those jobs, please let Nancy in the office know in person, or you can send an email to the office email account, which is office@uuchurchlc.org. We're approaching the last chance to sign up for the RE-hosted OWL classes for 7th and 9th graders. Orientation classes will run through April. There's some flyers back in the lobby, and definitely worth your time. Climate Action Group is now active. They meet by Zoom at 3:30 p.m. the first Thursday of each month. So please get involved with that. Climate is something that unfortunately is getting a lot of ignoring right now, but it's beyond important. I could tell you stories. Let's see here. Board of Trustees is looking for 3 more delegates to attend the UUA General Assembly in Baltimore, either in person or visually. Back when I was with Neighborhood Church in Pasadena, I went almost every year or every time they ran it, and I loved it. It's an amazing thing to be around hundreds of other UUs. Let's see here. You can learn more about that particular thing at our website, and there's some more information there too. You might have noticed that the church campus is neater than it normally is, and that is in part due to the effort and labor of church volunteers who have pitched in to do the work on Saturday for the past 3 months. Projects are small, some are more noticeable, but the accomplishments add up. Please schedule time for a spring cleaning day on Saturday the 19th. It's actually fun. Now, Katie already talked about the auction. I want to talk about the auction. It's our second biggest fundraiser at this church, and we need more donations. We need more prizes. This is our 70th anniversary of this church, and so we're hoping to make it the biggest auction we've ever done. We want to raise the most money we have And that trajectory is only going to happen if we become more generous and donate some more prizes. Last thing I want to talk about, oh no, second to the last thing. Change for Change recipient is the Dharma Horse Equine Sanctuary. They provide lifelong care for rescued horses, mules, and donkeys. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is there's an April 12th meeting in the library for a pledge drive kickoff. It's important to get started with the pledge drive early, so if you are interested in joining us for that kickoff on April 12th at the library, do you know the time? No, I don't know the time. Sorry. Does anyone know the time? After church. Thank you. And this is my translator. Thanks, folks. Enjoy the service.
Okay, it's time for our voices to be heard in the gathering song. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing number 196, Singer of Life.
This is not a hymn that we sing very often, so I'm going to play it one time through, and then we'll just roll into the piece, okay?
Good morning again, and welcome to the Sunday service for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. Whether you're a regular here or visiting us for the first time or viewing the service via streaming media, we hope that you find some measure of enrichment and fulfillment here today. Remembrance is one of the underlying themes of today's service. So, allow me a brief moment to acknowledge those who are responsible for this morning's service, beginning with our greeters. You met already Carol Cassavant, Linda Rashala, and I didn't see John Seeley. Oh, there's John. Yes, I'm sorry, John. You're from the University of Michigan, so I kind of ignore you. Okay. I'd also like to honor the ladies who created our beautiful chalice table, Diane Lee and Jillian Lang. Our minister is the Reverend Rod Thompson. He's not in the pulpit, but he is on the tech deck helping out. Our service leader is Allison Claire Neal Wallace. Please notice the change, Allison. Kelly Ingram is our Director of Religious Education, and will be sharing the time for all ages. Elwin Nutt is running the camera. Mike Yasko created the slides for today and is monitoring our YouTube interface. Hospitality is provided by the Moonshadow Covenant Group and the Caring Committee. So you're going to be enjoying some wonderful goodies in hospitality later. My name is Katie Fitzgerald, and I'm the service associate. I apologize for not having my name tag. I forgot it. On behalf of all of the aforementioned individuals, may I say we are delighted that you could join us this morning. We here at the UUCLC are striving to become a beloved community. We embrace diversity in all its forms. Everyone is welcome. Unitarian Universalism has no creed nor dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live in relationship with each other according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and values, as well as our congregation's covenant of right relations. You can learn more about our church and the activities that are upcoming as you review our website at uuchurchlc.org. If you are visiting us in the sanctuary this morning, we'd like to meet you. So please stand, wait a moment for me to get to you with a microphone, and be prepared to introduce yourself. Let us know where you are from. Do we have any visitors today? I think you're shy. And that's okay too. We have visitor cards behind the chairs, so please feel free to fill those out and put them in the offering basket as it comes around so that we can communicate with you and give you information about upcoming events at the church, most particularly our spring auction. But there's other fun things that happen here too. Mike, do we have any visitors through YouTube? Okay. Directly following this service, there will be an opportunity to fellowship with one another. We hope that you will gather in the RV Great Room for treats, coffee, and conversation. You just need to follow the breezeway down to the other building. You'll see chairs, but as you go into the building, that's where you find the coffee and goodies. There will be seating outside as it is such a glorious morning. As I mentioned earlier, this week's hospitality offerings are sponsored by the Caring Committee and the Moonshadow Covenant Group. For our chalice sliding this morning, it is called Sacred Unknowing, and it's by Amy Carol Webb. We light this flame for the art of sacred unknowing, humbled by all that we cannot fathom in this time. We come into the presence of what we do know, perhaps the only thing we can ever know, that love is now and forever, the only answer to everything and everyone in every moment.
One second. Good morning. I would quickly, before I start my candle lighting in remembrance, like to shout out our chalice lighter, my friend Ren Mercer. He also made our beautiful chalice today by hand. So thank you to him. On this Trans Day of Visibility, we are here to celebrate the beauty of transformation and my wonderful trans community. Before we can do that, though, we have to take a moment and some time to remember those who we lost and who sacrificed themselves to get us here today. I have some candles here today. I'm going to switch over to this microphone. Check. Okay. I light this first candle for Marsha P. Johnson. It's supposed to be a slide. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I light this first candle today for Marsha P. Johnson, a pioneer trans activist who, and trans and gay rights activist who was known for her part in the Stonewall riots and everything that came after. Thank you. She is known for many famous quotes. One of my favorites is, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here because it's kind of long, but if no one stands up and says, I am gay, I am transgender, then no one, and I am proud, then no one else will feel safe to stand up and say, I am gay, I am transgender, and I am proud. She founded Star House, one of the first shelters for homeless gay and trans youth in America. She lived most of her life on the streets of New York City, doing whatever she had to survive. Just after the 1992 New York City Gay Pride Parade, Marsha P. Johnson was found dead in the Hudson River, a murder that the NYPD wrote off as a suicide before they even bothered to investigate. Close one. I light this next candle for Eden Knight, a Saudi trans girl who fled to the United States for an education as her true self, where she lived for 4 years before her international scholarship ran out and as did her visa. After this happened, she was contacted by a pair of American citizens on the bankroll of her father, who was a high-ranking Saudi National Bank executive, and the Saudi Arabian government to coerce her to returning to Saudi Arabia, and where her family forcibly detransitioned her, taking her passport and money to prevent her from fleeing back to the United States. After she was returned to her family, Eden Knight took her own life on March 12th, 2023. I light this third candle for the many other lives lost. Brianna J., a 16-year-old trans girl who was killed by other students at her school, who were sentenced to life imprisonment. Regina Allen, Brazil Johnson, and Kashay Henderson, 3 black transgender women who were murdered in Milwaukee. Their killer also received life imprisonment. These women were granted justice, but the wound their families feel will never be healed. Next Benedict was not granted justice. A 14-year-old trans boy next was attacked by fellow students at his Oklahoma high school in the girls' bathroom that the government of his state forced him to use. He later died in the hospital from his injuries, a case that the Attorney General of Oklahoma personally ruled a suicide. I light this final candle for our own community. Doing a remembrance candle lighting, I felt it was only right to highlight the 3 lives lost in the shooting last weekend at Young Park. All 3 of the victims who were killed and several of the 15 who were injured were under 20 years old. I would like now for us to take a moment of silence. I share this with you not to point out how terrible the world is, but so we remember those that we have lost, those that sacrifice themselves. And we remember the threat that trans people are facing. It's not a new thing. It never has been a new thing. I thank you all for listening, and I hope you keep all of those individuals I spoke of in your hearts today. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in saying our affirmation of covenant. The words are on the screen, and they will be followed by the singing of the doxology in both English and Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Good morning, church.
Good morning, Kelly.
This morning I will be reading the story, I Am Jazz. I am Jazz. For as long as I can remember, my favorite color has been pink. My second favorite color is silver. Mine too. And my third favorite color is green. Here are some of my other favorite things: dancing, singing, backflips, drawing, soccer, swimming, makeup, and pretending I'm a pop star. Most of all, I love mermaids. Sometimes I even wear a mermaid tail in the pool. My best friends are Samantha and Casey. We always have fun together. We like high heels and princess gowns, or cartwheels and trampolines. But I'm not exactly like Samantha and Casey. I have a girl brain, but a boy body. This is called transgender. I was born this way. When I was very little and my mom would say, "You're such a good boy," I would say, "No, Mama, good girl." At first, my family was confused. They always thought of me as a boy. As I got a little older, I hardly ever played with trucks or tools or superheroes, only princesses and mermaid costumes. My brothers told me this was girl stuff. I kept right on playing. My sister says I was always talking to her about my girl thoughts and my girl dreams, and how one day I would be a beautiful lady. She would giggle and say, "You're a funny kid." Sometimes my parents let me wear my sister's dresses around the house. But whenever we went out, I had to put on my boy clothes again. This made me mad. Still, I never gave up trying to convince them. Pretending I was a boy felt like a lie. Then one day, everything changed. Mom and Dad took me to meet a new doctor who asked me lots and lots of questions. Afterwards, the doctor spoke to my parents, and I heard the word transgender for the first time. That night at bedtime, my parents both hugged me and said, "We understand now. Be who you are. We love you no matter what." This made me smile and smile and smile. Mom and Dad told me I could start wearing girl clothes to school and growing my hair long. They even let me change my name to Jazz. Being Jazz felt much more like being me. Mom said that being Jazz would make me different from the other kids at school, but that being different is okay. What's important, she said, is that I'm happy with who I am. Being Jazz caused some other people to be confused too, like the teachers at my school. At the beginning of the year, they wanted me to use the boys' bathroom and play on the boys' team and gym, but that didn't feel normal to me at all. I was so happy when the teachers changed their minds. I can't imagine not playing on the same team as Casey and Samantha. Even today, there are kids who tease me or call me by a boy name or ignore me altogether. This makes me feel crummy. Then I remember that the kids who get to know me usually want to be my friend. They say I'm one of the nicest girls in school. I don't mind being different. Different is special. I think what matters most is what a person is like inside. And inside, I am happy. I am having fun. I am proud. I am Jazz. Thank you.
One of the ways we express our care for one another is through the sharing of joys and sorrows. Another is through the stones and water ritual. We have all the basic elements for life gathered here in our sanctuary. Spirit is above us, and your individual spirit belief may be represented in our stained glass windows. The rocks represent earth as stability and foundation. Water is essential for hydration and cleansing. Air is all around us, full of life-giving oxygen and a breeze to clear away cloudy thoughts. Fire in our chalice, providing a guiding light and the warmth of community. As you will, please come forward. Pick up a stone and drop it into the water vessel. In silence, say to yourself the joy, sorrow, or perhaps the name of someone you wish to honor today. I'm going to add another stone for all the transgender heroes named and unnamed, as well as the victims of the Young Park violence and their families. Please rise as we sing hymn number 101, Abide with Me.
Our reading today comes from Quinn Gormley, and it is entitled, They Can't Take Our Sparkle. I've become known as Chaplain Sparkle Shoes at the hospital where I work. My wardrobe choice is intentional. It's more precise than calling me the trans chaplain, there are a few of us, and disarms the Grim Reaper baggage conveyed by my job title. Simply put, the shoes make me more approachable. They start multiple conversations each day, make kids and old ladies smile, and make grumpy old men flirt. More than one psych patient, upon glimpsing them, has started to dance. Besides these vocational reasons for wearing sparkly shoes, they go with all my outfits, which are superbly comfortable and scratch a girly itch in my brain that loves all things shiny. I rock them. When I was getting dressed this week, I found myself wearing head-to-toe black. Dress, leggings, socks, blazer. I even had black earrings. I sat down on the edge of the bed, feeling like I needed to put on armor. These next 4 years will be brutal. I need to be tough and ready for battle. So I put on my combat boots and made for the door. Just before I stepped outside, a voice in my head said, "No, Quinn, they don't get to take our sparkle." An important lesson for cis people is that if you want to know what's good about a gender, ask a trans person. Want good masculinity? Talk to trans men. Want someone who really understands what's valuable about femininity? Talk to trans women. As a trans woman, I love the way women are soft. To be clear, I love the ways women are strong, tough, and ready to fight, too. My dating history makes this clear. I love the ways we sparkle, the ways we twirl. This is how I enter the world, and I've paid a high price for it my entire life. But last fall, the Republican Party spent $215 million on ads targeting women like me, trans people. They want me to be something I never have been and never will be, a man. They're coming for us. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to be strong. But they don't get to take my sparkle, or my softness, or my twirling. And they sure as hell don't get to take my gender. Thank you.
No, your mom don't get it, and your dad don't get it, Uncle John don't get it. And you can't tell Grandma 'cause her heart can't take it, and she might not make it. They say, don't dare, don't you even go there, cutting off your long hair, you do as you're told. Tell you wake up, go put on your makeup, this is just a phase you're gonna outgrow. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. Oh, they stare in the village, in the village. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. There's something wrong in the village. They'll follow you from Monday all the way to Friday dinner. You got one day of shelter, then it's Sunday, hell to pay, you young lost sinner. Well, I've been there sitting in that same chair, whispering that same prayer 500,000 times. It's a lie, though, buried in disciples. One page of the Bible isn't worth a life. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. Oh, they stare in the village, in the village. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong with the village, with the village. There's something wrong with the village.
My name is Allison Claire Neal Wallace. I'm 20 years old, and I am transgender. We have come together today in the name of visibility, trans visibility to be exact, something that is more important now than ever. As we are persecuted on an unprecedented scale, it is time to step aside and listen to trans voices, listen to our stories. Before I get to my story, though, I want to talk about what visibility is. Visibility is to be seen. Visibility is to be recognized for who you are and what you represent. To me, advocacy is the most important kind of visibility. Standing up for your community, especially those who are too afraid to stand up for themselves, is important for all marginalized groups. But standing alone is not as effective as standing in solidarity. When we come together, like we have this morning, we raise our voices from just a random girl yelling on the street corner to a movement that cannot be silenced. Together we are strong, and the more we are visibly strong, the less effective their attacks against us will be. My story starts in Humboldt County, California, in a little town called Arcata, where we lived for the first 6 months of my life. At 6 months old, we moved to Albuquerque to be closer to family, and moved to Cruces 6 years later for the same reason. My whole life, I felt like there was something off, like a piece of the puzzle that was in the wrong spot. I felt like I never fit in, but I could never pin down why. By the time 2020 rolled around, I was extremely depressed and filled with self-loathing. I detested my body, my face, and my voice. And when I shaved my head in 2021, it was a tipping point. I wore a towel over my head to feel like I had my long hair back and to hide from the world around me. I slept all day and stayed up all night, going through the various phases of manic depression. One night, as I was laying in bed, I realized I had to make a change. When we couldn't afford the internet bill anymore and they shut off our service, I was in an even worse place. Playing anything I had downloaded on my computer and listening to podcasts on my phone to avoid being alone with my thoughts. Eventually, I went to work for my grandfather, helping manage the rental properties he owns. It was in the backyard of that house during the hottest week of the summer. I was alone and doing manual labor outside. It was pretty miserable. All I could do was think and listen to music. And since I had time to listen to lots of music, I decided to finally dive in to Swedish rapper Young Lean. I turned on his mixtape Stardust and was immediately enamored. The interesting production and the terrible English that he spoke connected with me on an indescribable level. I then moved on to his best friend and fellow Swedish rapper Blade and fell in love with music like I never had before. Tracks I hated on my first listen became my favorites on the third. On the song Undergone, Blade says, "Ooh, perfect, I feel like a woman." In the moment I laughed. Then I started thinking, wait a minute, I want to feel like a woman. It was there, in the backyard of the house that my grandparents were married, that I had my egg-cracking moment. It was like the puzzle I had been struggling to put together my whole life showed me the way. I went home that day feeling like a weight was lifted off my chest, but I was still soaked in anxiety. In fact, it was worse. I was instantly hyper-aware of all of my masculine features and spent 2 days in a dark room talking to only a few friends. when a few months later I put on my first estrogen patch, I took the first step in changing my life forever. Transition is transformation. You will often hear Christians say, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. If that's true, trans people are pretty strong soldiers. It's my belief that transformation brings us closer to whatever God means to us and gives us greater respect for the interconnected web of existence. To bridge from one spoke on the web to another is how a web gets its structure, how we build a stronger web. Trans people are a core part of that, and oftentimes are uniquely positioned to understand the viewpoints of those different spokes. We are all part of this web, and we all help to build it. When we build the web of existence, in turn, we build the web of community. Intertwined, we create things that are impossible for the individual. A single strand of a web cannot stand on its own. When I look at myself before my transition, I see a caterpillar. Someone who will one day lock herself away for a while and reemerge as a beautiful butterfly. I find the butterfly to be nature's best metaphor. We all experience some kind of transformation in our lives. And in many ways, we can all relate to the butterfly or a caterpillar, waiting to be born anew, beautiful, vibrant, and loved. With all the hate that I have witnessed and experienced, I was never once deterred. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love is the hub of the interconnected web. Love is the core of human desire and emotion. Love is God. Love is everything intangible that we desire. The beauty of the butterfly is something I often see best reflected in the trans community. The transformation into vibrance, the love for ourselves that we will find. Life takes time, and it's often the case that all we need is guidance to see that. Nothing happens overnight. The beauty inside all of us has to find its way out. And we have to help it. You will never love yourself overnight, nor will you find the answer by sitting and waiting for it to come to you. The interconnected web of existence holds the same structure as the interconnected web of community, and both have love at their core. For the individual to succeed, they need the support of a community. That's why it's so important for us to come together, and why we, as UUs, support social justice as one of our core values. It supports the idea that every living person has inherent worth and dignity, that every person deserves to be heard, loved, and seen, no matter who or what they may be. That every person is part of something larger, something connected. I've said it before, but without the warmth of this community, I would likely still be a rather depressed mechanic who felt like she had nowhere to go in life. Without community, I wouldn't be motivated to fight. I wouldn't be motivated to keep going. And I wouldn't be motivated to continue to build more stronger communities. In a time like this, when we are facing unprecedented bigotry, when we are watching the federal government destroy people's lives for no reason other than hate. It's scary. Knowing that for many families, whether they be families with trans children or just trans people themselves, and also families of immigrants, live in fear every day of their family being torn apart because some very rich people are bigoted, and for no other reason. I chose the reading that I chose today because it highlights that number, $215 million spent by various people and organizations in attacks on trans people. And with Trans Day of Visibility upon us, we need to remind them that trans people have always been here, and we will always be here. They can do nothing to change that. They're certainly going to try, they already are, but they will never win. Because love is the most powerful force in the universe. I am here. I am seen. And I am visible. Thank you.
Allison, you're a tough act to follow. Okay. We respect and are grateful for the many contributions of your time, your talent, and your treasure, as they are a tangible commitment to the mission and vision of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. Each time you give, you renew your commitment to our congregation's goals and values. And as a result, your support is entwined with all that we believe and all that we do here together. In this spirit of trust and generosity, the greeters will pass among you to accept the offering. And as a reminder, this is the last Sunday, I believe, of this quarter, and that means it's the last opportunity in Change for Change to make a donation to the Dharma Horse Equine Sanctuary, which provides lifelong care for rescued horses, mules, and donkeys. Please give generously to support this work. You can do it by putting change in the basket or a check that has Change for Change in the memo line, or in an envelope and mark it Change for Change if it's a cash donation with bills. So please be generous, and thank you.
In the past year, I have reached new heights of happiness and fulfillment that I never thought possible. I thought that fulfillment came from creativity and work existed to be a struggle. This past year, I was proven wrong. I felt fulfilled and accomplished in the work that I have done and continue doing. My happiness was also found in my newfound love for myself. While I do still struggle a lot with self-image and dysphoria, I spend much more time loving myself than loathing. I always felt that my name, my body, and the mold that society built for me were things that I just had to accept, that I had no power to change. I ask that you not let the light inside of you burn out. We need each and every person to stand up in solidarity with those who are under threat. Together we are stronger. Together we are unstoppable. When we are together, we are more visible. When we are together, we are happier. When we are together, we are loved. So please remember, even when you feel the most alone, you are part of the interconnected web. For all of my beautiful trans folks out there, we are a critical part of the web, so we have to continue to live. We have to keep going, and we have to keep building. Remember, hate will never stop us because love is more powerful. The struggle of liberation is one that happens all around the world and will forever be intertwined. So remember that trans rights are human rights, free Palestine, and love will save us all. So blessed be, may it be so, Ashe, Amin, Amen, and did I get them all, Reverend Rod? I did. I got them all. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Well, there's 6 verses to this hymn, so I think we can sit down for it, okay? All right. We're going to have our closing hymn, number 23, Bring Many Names. Please join us. it is now time to extinguish the flame. Please rise and join me in these words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.